Welcome to the Daily Agenda. We're up against the wall again because we're real up against it tonight. The weather's turned, obviously, and there's a strong crosswind and intermittent rain showers. So here we are, the beautiful wall. Don't you just love it? I do. So the assassination of Charlie Kirk, why is it a turning point? Turning point USA only, is it? Don't think so. It's a turning point in Britain as well, because of the extent to which he was supported here in Britain. But why is it really a turning point? Well, I think there was a pretty damning moment this afternoon when a lot of centre-right commentators were actually asking this very important question. Do we continue dialogue with the left after this? Considering the fanfare that we've seen today of rabid, wretched leftists in Britain and America celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk, and I saw the best possible footage of it, which was dug out by a friend of mine. He was wearing hexagonal armour plates, not the standard Kevlar, and the bullet hit in the chest straight into the throat, and you can actually see that quite clearly in the clip, and it's pretty gruesome. And but then murder really is gruesome, is it not? Well, I think it is. And in truth, how anybody can have a fit of delight and celebrate over something so grotesque as that, knowing perfectly well that he had a wife and 2 young children. Well, Dino Bane actually said, are these people sociopaths? Are they psychopaths? Well, evidently, yes, absolutely. They seem to have no empathy, no empathetic connection whatsoever, because they hate right-wing people. And it doesn't matter whether you're just right-wing, centre-right, or nationalist. They hate all of us, I would say, and they want us dead. Absolutely no doubt about that. And that's why they cheer at our deaths. And that's the reason why they have these fanfare celebrations all over social media. And so how is it possible to have any form of rational discourse and dialogue with rabid, monstrous fanatics who love killing and love celebrating killing? Work that one out if you can. Perhaps we should go back to the Soviet Union, the mass murder machine known as the Red Terror, in which millions of people were just wiped off the face of the earth by these communists. And wherever communism has taken root, leftism, because that's what it is really. We're only talking about factions within an umbrella group. Socialism is the umbrella group. Communism is one of the main factions within the umbrella group. Soviet Socialist republics, we've been through all this before on a previous podcast, I seem to remember. And so I would argue that there is absolutely no way at all that we can continue with rational, reasonable dialogue with the left. They don't want it. They have no interest in it whatsoever. It does absolutely nothing for us. And how many more right-wing leaders are we going to see exterminated in this manner, whilst the left jump up and down and whoop and cheer, and we just sit back and do nothing? Is that what they think is going to happen? They obviously do think that's what's going to happen, because I'll tell you what, they think the right collectively is weak and soft and won't do anything, and that all they'll do is talk. Well, a lot of them will do that. There's a lot of talkers out there, but there's some doers, and all we have to determine now, I think, really, in truth, because dialogue with the left is impossible. We all know it's impossible. They don't believe in democracy. They hate it. We saw that with the EU ref. We saw that with every attempt to spike Brexit, and it never happened anyway. Brexit is just a pipe dream, and what you could possibly call Brexit in name only. The Trotskyist Starmer is doing his best to unpick slowly and surely, in league with Macron and the other wretched Eurocrats. So in truth, how do we continue to share a living space with these people? It's not just a case of, do we continue to have discourse with the left? There's a much bigger issue. How do we continue to share a living space with oxygen thieves? Because that, in essence, is what the left has become. It's just a giant oxygen thief, stealing all the good oxygen, all the good air, and polluting the rest of the environment for us, is it not? And telling us that we're bad, evil, monstrous people. But there's one thing I think every right-wing person needs to get to grips with, and they should do it tonight. There are more right-wing people than there are left-wing people. Okay? More, I guarantee you. They're strong only in the cities, they're not strong anywhere else. They're not strong anywhere else. The nativists are much stronger throughout the rest of the country. Yeah, they're only strong in the cities. We don't need to do anything with the cities. We've discussed this matter before. We don't need to make any attempt to take over the cities. The cities will just collapse into total anarchy and disorder and bled dry of resources. I think Professor Betts has covered that one repeatedly and quite extensively. But what I'm saying is this: under no circumstances, publish any form of blueprint of any description on social media, because only a fool would do such a thing. But when people like Dan Tubbs say, oh, that's if we continue dialogue with the left, well, why do you even have to ask that question? Surely there is now a total understanding across the collective right in this country and everywhere else across Europe and North America and New Zealand and Australia and Canada that dialogue with the rabid left is at an end. All we have to determine now is the best strategy and tactics to use to smash the power of the left. Permanently, that is. I don't believe in any form of dialogue with the left. And I saw that hideously sickening footage of Charlie Kirk being shot. And it could be any of us. It could be me. It could be you. It could be any one of the subscribers on this channel or any of the other channels. It could be absolutely any of us. And they'll just whoop and jump and cheer and scream abuse and demand even more because they have an insatiable bloodlust. A fact which Red Terror proved, did it not? They have an insatiable bloodlust. And what you saw with Charlie Kirk is what they want to do to all of us. Irrespective of who pulled the trigger, and it wasn't really the person who pulled the trigger that killed him, it was the motives that led to the trigger being pulled that killed him. It always is that case, quite frankly. And until we know those exact motives, we will not be entirely certain of what motivation there was to assassinate him. But what we can be absolutely certain of this night is that the left, and there's no such thing anymore really as the centre left and the far left, they're all just leftists. They're all just communists. Let's just call them what they really are. And they've all got a kick out of it. They're all loving it. And they're deranged. And some of the deranged ranting that I've actually seen is, well, it's what you would expect in a nut house, quite frankly, a madhouse, that's right, a mental asylum. And that's really where we should be thinking of putting these people when we've defeated them, because they cannot be rehabilitated. That disease has taken root so deep in their mindset that being excluded from society ad infinitum is the only way to deal with these leftists. And I believe that all leftist groups should be banned. That's my honest opinion. I know you're not going to agree with me. Oh, that's anti-democratic. We're dealing with extremists who hate democracy. Get a grip on reality. Get a grip on reality. We're not dealing with decent, nice people. We're dealing with vile, horrible extremists who love killing people and who love celebrating the murder of political opponents. And so therefore the time has come not to go public. Not to go public ever. Don't ever do that. That's a fool's errand. The time has come though to realise that dialogue with the left is at an end. And one thing I would say, late last night when Professor Edward Dutton took to his YouTube channel to do a live stream at 1 o'clock in the morning Finland time to say the civil war has begun. Well, that was grossly irresponsible. Grossly irresponsible. It's entirely what you'd expect of Dutton. That's one of the reasons why I don't like him, in truth. I've made the other reasons perfectly clear, particularly in the podcast I did about Jonathan Bowden last week. But really what he did last night was reckless. Reckless, very, very reckless. And I'll tell you why, because no preparations have actually been made for civil war, have they? Because everyone's just talking about it, but nobody's actually making any preparations for it. But what we can be certain of is this. I think we have reached a turning point with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, in that dialogue with the left is over. What comes now, exactly, maybe only the historians will know that. But the dialogue, I don't think there ever was dialogue, really. Constructive, meaningful dialogue with the left. But the dialogue, the opportunity for dialogue with the left is over. And I think every right-wing person needs to accept that fact, embrace it, and draw up a battle plan accordingly to deal with the left, because they're murderous and they're violent and they're bigoted and hateful and intolerant. And this cannot continue. It has got to be stopped. It has got to be stopped. All we have to do now is to decide on the best way to stop it. And dialogue is not the way to stop it.